My name is Brianna, and this is Group 5, and I'll be doing the company background.
My name is Carlos, and I'll be doing the company's current workflow.
Hi, I'm Michael Contreras. I'll be doing part 3, which is the solution.
Hi, my name is Whitney and I'll be doing the conclusion.
That's a winner. This is part 1, and I'll be giving you a little bit about the company background and some of our experiences. Now I'll give you a little bit of the information about LFPS Inc. LFPS Inc. offers the highest quality of clinical laboratory testing by offering the latest instrumentation and technology available in the field of analytical toxicology and patient drug monitoring solutions. Here I'll give you a little bit about our experience. This was an interesting experience understanding how the company functions and getting a chance to get an inside tour of the laboratories and offices. It was interesting seeing all the necessary steps the lab has to adhere to from the beginning to the end to assure the highest quality. The main task of our team was to see where we can help this already well-established business.
This is part 2, and I will be going over the current company's business operations. Our group was more than fortunate to be shown around LFPS Inc. and the positions, jobs in detail. So we will begin with the current workflow process, beginning with the client or doctor's office sending an email to the office scheduler. The office scheduler will then receive this email containing date and location. This will then tell the scheduler when to schedule a test technician for that office. So the scheduler will receive different emails for different locations, letting them know what schedule to build. So a doctor's office will have a test technician arrive and then have patients arrive to have a test administered. The test will have 3 parts: a urine cup, paperwork, and a label to seal it and to confirm the identity. So at this point, the paper trail will begin, and we want to consider this because for our recommendation, it will be centered around paper. So we want to keep an eye on this. The test technician will then collect various samples and paperwork from different patients. So the test technician will finish their job, have all their paperwork in line and all their samples in line, and it will be so for various offices. So their technicians will have all their stuff ready, package it, then have the carrier, which is the next step, pick up the samples and do it in an orderly fashion, who will then deliver it to the laboratory, and the lab technician will then be in charge of receiving it. Billing will then receive a carbon copy. Provider services will then also receive another carbon copy. So the order of the paperwork will begin with provider services, who will then first air check for any errors, then scan each individual form into our system, which will then file it, then physically file these forms into storage. And as you can see, this is the cycle of the paperwork. So there are various locations with a lot of patients showing up. And we spoke to LFPS Inc. and they told us in a month they will conduct about 3,000 tests a month. So as you can see, this will lead to a lot of paperwork.
All right, and now we're going to go ahead and take a look at our solution. As you can see that our solution still begins the process or the operation at the client. The client in the current operation sends an email to the office scheduler requesting a technician. But in our solution, we want to take advantage of our client's patient information. And by this we mean that our client has more access and more information to the patients that our technician is going to perform the test for. And we want to ask up front for more information. We got with the office scheduler and she said this is very much possible. And so this is definitely something we want to take advantage of in our solution, knowing how valuable business information is. So moving on, inside that original email we're going to have the patient name, test type, patient address, and date of appointment. This is going to allow the office scheduler to have additional information she didn't have before, which is the amount of patients per day and what kind of test for each doctor's office or each of the client's offices. This allows her to estimate the number of hours the technician is going to be at each location. So obviously this increases the communication between the technician and the office scheduler. This should also increase the job satisfaction of the technicians because at the current operational model they have no idea how many patients or how long they will be at each office. So this now gives them a better insight into how much time they'll be spending at each location. Moving on from here, the actual lab itself will be receiving this through the office scheduler. And with this patient information ahead of time, we are going to be creating what's called a lab number for every patient. That lab number for every patient will be controlled by some internal office person who will be the only one at this point who creates LN numbers. In the current operation, we know that there are multiple parties that create this LN number. In this new model, the control will be with one person. This should reduce duplicate and redundancy in this patient LN number. Moving on from here, we'll take that patient information and that LN number and we'll go ahead and put it inside a label. This label is what we'll actually be using to seal the specimens now. You can see that what the current label will look like, what the future proposed label will look like, and it's going to have 2 QR codes. This is a type of technology we are implementing to help us in our solution in overcoming the difficulty of carrying patient information to multiple locations without a centralized ERP system. So this right here, this label will be prepared. You can see that it has the details and you can see that it has 2 QR codes. Those QR codes, one has all the patient information and one has just the LN number. The internal office person will create many of these and the courier will send them to the client's office with the other supplies that are on a regular basis sent to our client's office. When the test technician goes the day of testing, he'll have a sheet which has those QR codes on them. This sheet, which we'll call the patient LN number sheet, he'll have for each day for each office. As the patients come into the office, he'll match the patient's name and information with the label that corresponds to that patient. And once that is validated, the technician, which in our new solution will now have a digital device such as a smartphone or a tablet, will scan the QR code which has all the patient information. This QR code will take that patient information and embed it into an email which will be sent off, as you can see in this next slide, to whoever we want. At this point we have it going to the office scheduler to the billing department, to the provider services, and to the manager. This shows you that this email and this test, once it's conducted, can notify any party that we wish to through this email, allowing billing to get a head start on preparing those bills and sending them off to collect revenue quicker, allowing the provider services to keep track of the accuracy of the operation. The office scheduler will then know whether the day is complete or not, and the manager can start using this information to forecast and trend numbers, which using paper in the current operation we are unable to. So now we have the lab and what actually happens with the specimen. The lab technician receives the specimen, and instead of with paper, she just receives a specimen with this LN number label. And again, over to the right, you have the simple LN, the simple QR code, which has just the LN number. This LN number is scanned by the lab technician, and the test is now complete. She has the patient's information. She doesn't have to create it herself. It's automatically generated in the system beforehand by that internal office person, and she can worry about just handling it and performing the tests.
I'm Whitney, and I'll be doing the conclusion, so let's take a look at it.
Our digital solution will not only save LFPS Inc. hundreds of dollars a month, but it will save them thousands of dollars yearly. What company doesn't want to save money, right? In the current workflow process, LFPS Inc. is spending about $6,000 a month, which is about $81,000 per year. So, features of the solutions for this new workflow process, LFPS Inc. would make an initial cost of $2,000 to implement the digital solution. After implementing the digital solution, of course, the monthly cost would be roughly $5,000. In a year, that's saving you $13,000. The benefits of this solution, the technicians would get their schedule ahead of time, increase productivity. The forecasting of profits and loss would be aware of where the profit is needed, as well as to reduce the costs in order to increase the profit. The data is also organized in an easy manner. The digital solution consists of productivity increase, efficiency, and savings. With the productivity, there's a faster turnaround time and increase of volume of transactions. When it comes to efficiency, a decrease in redundancy and inconsistency. Lastly, savings. You'll be saving time, money, and resources. So let's save money today. Go digital.